I've always been an adventurous type, hiking, camping, exploring remote places, things that gave me a sense of freedom and peace. But that all changed when I went to the Black Ridge Mountains. It was supposed to be a short trip, a quick solo hike up the trail and back, just to clear my head. I had heard rumors about the mountain, about how people sometimes got lost and were never found, but I thought it was just a legend. The locals in the small town nearby warned me to be cautious, but I brushed them off. I had a map, a compass, and experience. What could go wrong? The first few hours went as planned. The air was crisp, the forest quiet, except for the occasional rustling of the wind through the trees. But as the sun began to dip lower in the sky, something started to feel off. The shadows in the forest grew unnaturally long, and the temperature dropped sharply. I looked at my watch, still plenty of time before nightfall. But the deeper I went into the woods, the more disoriented I became. The trees seemed to close in, and the trail became less visible. I paused, checking my map, but I couldn't make sense of my location. Something wasn't right. The markers on my map didn't match up with what I was seeing on the ground. Panic started to set in, but I forced myself to stay calm. I turned back, thinking I'd retrace my steps. But when I looked up, I realized the forest was different. The trees were taller now, thicker, as if I had somehow crossed into a part of the mountain that didn't belong on any map. I tried calling for help, but there was no signal. My phone was useless. I walked for what felt like hours, the silence in the forest so heavy it was suffocating. I could hear something moving around me, something that wasn't quite an animal, more like the crunch of footsteps in the snow. But when I turned, there was nothing. Then I heard it, a voice. It was faint, almost a whisper carried by the wind. My name, Eli. Eli. I froze. I was alone. There was no one out here. The voice repeated, closer this time. Eli. I turned quickly, but there was nothing. I was beginning to lose my grip on reality. I didn't know if it was exhaustion, hunger, or the mountain itself playing tricks on my mind. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me. As darkness set in, I found a small clearing and made camp, though I knew it was useless. The forest felt alive, pressing in around me. The whispering didn't stop. It was everywhere now, echoing through the trees, sometimes soft and soothing, sometimes sharp and urgent. Hours later, I was jolted awake by a sudden cold. The fire had gone out, and the temperature had dropped even further. I reached for my flashlight, but when I turned it on, the beam shone on something that shouldn't have been there. A figure. A man standing at the edge of the clearing, staring directly at me. His face was pale, gaunt, and his eyes, those eyes were empty, black sockets. I tried to scream, but my voice wouldn't come out. The figure just stood there, unmoving. The only thing I could hear was that whisper again, louder this time, coming from all directions. Leave, or join us. My heart raced. I scrambled to my feet, grabbing my pack and heading in the opposite direction, blindly running through the forest. The trees seemed to twist, as if they were trying to block my way, pulling at my clothes, at my skin. And that voice, it followed me, no matter how far I ran. You can't leave, Eli. You're already one of us. I stumbled through the woods until I collapsed, exhausted and on the brink of madness. The forest was silent, too silent, and then I heard it again, but this time it wasn't a whisper. It was clear. Eli, you're lost, and now you'll never find your way out. I don't remember how long I lay there, but when I woke up, the forest had changed. The trees were different, older. The ground was soft, damp, and covered in moss. I looked around in a daze, and then I saw it, a path. I followed it, but the deeper I went, the more wrong everything felt. Finally, I came to a clearing with a rock, a flat surface. On it were symbols carved into the stone, symbols that I knew I had seen before, on the map, on old tales. This wasn't a place anyone was meant to find. I didn't look back. I don't know if I ever made it out. But when I came to, I found myself back in town, dazed, confused, and miles from where I'd started. The locals stared at me as I walked in, but no one said a word. They just looked at me with knowing eyes. I heard one of them mutter, "Another one's made it back." I didn't say anything. I don't know if it was a dream or if the mountain had truly changed me, but I'm never going back to Black Ridge. I never will.